follow money too. Know that
How you doing there, Joe?
ain't doing too good.
How you feeling? Yeah, about ready to get going?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Blind Joe Hill. Just got the word from Dave that we're all set to go here, so we're going to get things rolling here. Blind Joe Hill on here on the Blues Shift. It's a pleasure to have you back. Had you up on the radio show and had you on our very first Blues Shift with Nate the Great. That was a few moons ago, but it's a pleasure to have you back here in action on the Blues Shift. So, what was that tune that you were just playing?
That was about a little boy. His mother died, and his daddy didn't like him too well. You know how some fathers is, but some fathers are good. And so he married another woman, and so they had to leave him go. You know, he wasn't wanted around there. So he just went on out, you know. He missed his mother. And that was the tune about traveling, about a little boy. Had a bad home and everything.
It sounds like a true story.
Yeah, that's the way it is, Summer. That's why I'm wiping my eyes right now, because that's what I was playing in. I'll probably play it again in a few minutes.
Yeah, I love that one. So you're originally from coal country, right?
Yes, sir. Down around Pennsylvania, West Virginia.
So what are things like out there?
Well, when I was a little boy, it was nothing but hills and and woods and everything, country roads.
So every location, like the coal miners, the railroads, the farmers, they all have their different styles of blues. What made the coal mining style unique?
Well, back then my daddy was a musician, and he used to play a piano and washboard. Then he met a friend, and he played the guitar, and every weekend they always get together and go out in the woods, take the coal oil lamps and things, and barbecue out there and stay out there all night. More like a camping trip, just like they do today, but only it was just a little bit different. They had coal oil lamps and things back then. And so they would go out there, then they would have to meet the old boss Shaw's mule that Monday morning, but they have Blue Monday, so they just party that day and go back to the coal mine that Tuesday night or Monday night or whenever, you know.
You have a little bash in the off time before you got to go back to work, huh?
Yes, sir. They called it company store. They had company stores back then.
So was it your dad that taught you how to play the guitar?
No, sir. My daddy was playing piano, and but during the time the coal mine, he came out east because, you know, they kept going on the strike, so he left my mother and I, and he hoboed back in Ohio, from back in Pennsylvania and West Virginia back then. And so that's how I come to be in Ohio, through my daddy by leaving the coal mines.
Mm-hmm. So how'd you originally start playing guitar? How old were you when you got turned on to that?
Oh, I was about 19. During the time I was playing piano, I took up piano because my daddy had took up piano.
So that was piano was your first instrument you started playing?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, it was some mishaps, and so I couldn't get no piano. Then I started playing guitar then.
So were you playing in bands at this time?
Yes, I played in bands now, you know, but during the time when I started the guitar and everything, I was playing progressive jazz, and then I played, then I started, after Jimmy Reed came out, then I started playing the blues because I looked like all the other guys wanted to play some jazz and stuff. So I just switched over to the blues.
So Jimmy Reed is actually who turned you on to the blues, you'd say?
Yes, because I had a privilege to play with him one night at Gleason's in Cleveland, Ohio. And we happened to be riding in Cleveland and come past there, and that's where all the big wheels would go B.B. King and all of them, Bobby Blue Bland and Muddy Waters and all of them would be at Gleason's there on Woodland. That's where they would have the big, I call them the big boys, Big Joe Turner and all of them. And so we just happened to be riding and had a sign in there that said Jimmy Reed appearing, you know. So we all stopped. We went in Gleason. There he was. He's just like I am.
So you got to know him a little bit?
Yes, sir. I sure got to know him a little bit and had the picture and everything of him, but I don't know what I couldn't be more tell you what that picture was than I was.
So what do you remember Jimmy Reed telling you about the blues?
Well, he just told me, doggone, to make it the best way you can. That's what he told me. He said, I wish you well, you know. And that's just like Amos Milburn's. I was down there on 83rd and Huff Avenue. That was one of them bad areas down there. And I met Amos Milburn, and I had a chance to play with him that night because his guitar player had got sick. And by me listening to Amos Milburn's songs and everything, so he needed a guitar player because he didn't have nobody but the bass and the piano and the lead guitar and the drummer. So by me know how to play with him, so I said, well, how about let me play the guitar with you? He said, well, okay. I had nothing to lose, you know. So I got a chance to play with him, and I made that set that night with him, and I was talking with him, and he told me almost the same thing as Jimmy Reed. He said, hey, whatever you make it work, you try to make it and try to be the best.
So it's just a very individualized, personalized feeling, what you're trying to express, basically, right?
Yes, sir. I know I ain't the best, but I just try to make other people happy, you know.
Yeah, I know you're making a whole lot of people happy.
If they call on me, say, Blind Joe, will you play a gig for us? Well, yeah, I'll go play it because, hey, I might not get no money out of it, but it's making a name for myself.
Yeah, turning a lot of people onto the blues and one-man style as well.
Mm-hmm.
One-man style seems to be kind of a dying art form, would you say?
Yes, it is, because that's the way he used to do back then. Maybe like Washboard Sam. He had his washboard and had all his little things on top of there and hit them and everything, but he didn't hardly ever get where he was neither.
So is Jimmy Reed the first guy that you saw who turned you on to the one-man style?
No. What happened, he was just blowing harmonica, just like you see this harp rack. But he had a band back in like the house band. But what made me do it, I had a drummer. He got killed. And first that started me off, I used to mess around with a harmonica, blowing here and there. Then my harp blower, he died. Then I went and got me a harp and a harp rack. And I go in the bedroom and I sit down and start playing the harp and learn how to blow. But it was kind of hard to blow because a harmonica is a hard instrument to blow because you got to control your stomach and your wind and almost blow through your nose and breathe through your nose. So finally I mastered that a little bit. Because him and I used to play the drums. By me, used to play a whole full set of drums. So him and I used to go and blow. And I would just play the drum and play my guitar, but I never blow. He would just blow the harmonica. So after he died, then I got me a harmonica. And that's what you see me doing right now. And then finally the drummer, he died and everything. So that's why I took it on my own. Then finally when Jimmy Reed came out, I think it was back in the 60s, about the 60s to almost end of the 50s when Jimmy Reed came out, then that's where I took off from him. I said, well, since I don't have no band with him, so I said, I'm going to blow like Jimmy Reed if I can. And so that's what I did. But I sound different when a band, when I just actually blow, you know, like that. But when I'm playing by myself, then I got almost the style that he got.
Mm-hmm. So you also have put together a band now, Blind Joe Hill and the Out-of-Siders.
Yes, sir, Blind Joe and the Out-of-Siders.
So when you're playing with the full band, then you just worry about playing harmonica and singing?
That's all. Mm-hmm. But I do still play my guitar with them, you know. I probably play the rhythm part. But when I want to sound different, then I couple my hands on my harmonica. That's where I sound different.
So we were just talking a little bit ago, and you had told me about this before, but you took a big blues tour in Europe about a couple months ago, I guess, right before Christmas time, right?
Yes, sir. In October.
How do the people in Europe like the blues?
Oh, they like it pretty well. My baby can tell you more about it than I can, because she was seeing how the people reacting.
So you were behind the Iron Curtain as well, right?
Yes, sir, and I'm glad to be back.
What do you think about it after being over there?
Man, I just got back to America just in time, because they got a lot of stuff going over there.
Kind of gives you a rejuvenated feeling about being an American?
Yes, sir. I feel good being American, man.
Good to be back home, huh?
Yeah, when I got off that plane, I was squatting down there in front of the airport. I started to kiss the ground when I was afraid somebody might be looking at it. I said, what that boy doing kissing that sidewalk? But I really did. I was glad to be back home. You just don't know. Maybe baby can tell you about it now, because she could see everything and I couldn't. But I know one thing, I was glad to be back America, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So 30 days, who was on that tour with you?
Margie Evans and the Thrill Seekers. Ain't that right, baby?
Mm-hmm.
The Thrill Seekers. Sundown Thomas, Sparky Rucker, and also Clean Ed Vinson. And Cash McCall.
Oh, yeah, full trip.
Uh-huh.
So you guys just working hard, huh?
Yeah,
Get on the bus and move to one place to the other.
One place to another, boy. You talking about? I think me and David I'm the only one that ever had 2 days off. The rest of them didn't have no days off.
Straight through, huh?
Yeah, straight through. TV things and everything. But baby and I, we had our 2 days off. And that's when I could get some good food there, because we went to the store and got us something and cooked.
The food's not that good over there, huh?
No, sir, I don't like their food. Yeah, baby, she put on a stew pot that day. And that's what we had for 2 days, that good old stew pot. They had good soul food then.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
Get some familiar taste in your mouth again, huh?
Yes, sir.
So,
yes,
when you were up at the radio station one time, I asked you for a definition of the blues, and you just put it so perfectly. Do you remember what you said?
No, sir, I don't.
Do you have another definition you want to give us?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it. The only thing I think about the blues, sometimes, you know, that's why they write different songs of the blues. Sometimes, not just like this while ago, just like that song, Traveling. Well, you might be sitting around the house. If you're a musician, you like to write a little song. And you put the title, Why I'm Sitting in This Room Alone. See, that's about a guy that's, he don't have nobody, no definite girlfriend or nothing. He sits around the house. And also they get lonely, and you think about it. And that's how them songs come out. He said, Why I'm sitting in this room alone. Why don't I go out and find me someone to love, or someone to love me, you know? And that's the way blues come about, you know. It's a story of a song.